What is up, Horror Hounds? I know I'm super late. Last week was Week of Mothma. There's a whole bunch of other shit going on, and I just fucking ran out of time. Also, if you're looking for the Monster Bash video, I will be doing that tonight as well. And also, I'm late on that because it was the Week of Mothma last week. For those of you who do not know what the Week of Mothma is, you have missed out. So, that being said, we're going to get right into doing some horror movie reviews, and, yeah, here we go. So, our first movie was called Block Island Sound. This movie had the gross old guy from 13 Cameras in it. I don't know if you guys saw 13 Cameras, but ew, yuck. This movie's about this old guy who loses his fucking mind on this fishing dock, or this fishing boat, or I don't even fucking remember. I don't know, you guys. I'm still trying to regain some kind of semblance of sobriety after last week. Dude was, his son's looking out for him, and his daughter comes into town, and then he goes missing for a while. There he is right there. That guy from 13 Cameras. Always looked creepy, very gross, kind of like, and it would appear that he is going to stay in the horror genre, so good for him. The old guy goes missing. He winds up not being okay after they find him. Very strange circumstances. I'm sure you guys have a pretty good idea of what's going on here. If you don't, there was a lot of weird little moments in this movie. It wasn't that great. And not to give any spoilers away or anything, but if you know what happens when people mysteriously disappear and then reappear and then are not okay when they reappear with marks and stuff, I wouldn't recommend it. There were a couple of moments in this movie were actually very creepy, but aside from that, hard pass. So moving on to our next film is called Dark, Deadly, and Dreadful. This is an anthology, which means I had to fucking watch it. This was actually pretty good for being an anthology. This movie was also very tampon heavy. I know that sounds weird, but if you watch it, you'll fucking see and find out. There were a lot of really good segments. The bad grammar Ouija board reading was fucking hilarious. And I mean, being an anthology, you can't really give very much of a plot synopsis to this whole thing, because you have all of these individual little bites and pieces and bits of all of these different movies, and most of them were pretty good. And this kind of felt like we got lost on YouTube watching alter horror shorts. So some were hits, some were total misses, and some were just fucking gold. I definitely recommend watching this movie. I know it's weird. The overall feel, there was no wraparound story to it. There was no, connecting bits to it at all, which is kind of a bummer, but also not really. I do like having a wraparound story, kind of like with VHS or Creepshow or something like that. This altogether was pretty fun. Really tampon heavy, which is a weird thing to say about a horror movie, but you'll just have to watch and find out. Moving on to number 3, The Beast Within from 1982. I had no idea how weird this movie was, but also, in its own right, it was actually pretty well done, and it was pretty good. Considering, like, the ridiculous transformation scene. So, this family gets into, think it's an accident on the side of the road one night, and the lady gets out of the car, and she is almost immediately raped by something. Awful, awful shit. Uh, she goes on and you know, has the baby, and that's him now, and we're 17 years into the future, I believe. And this kid is a fucking freak show. He's not really sure where he's at. People start showing up dead around him. And eventually he does end up transforming into something ridiculous. The transformation sequence on its own was pretty obscene and absurd. I think that some of the special effects people just pushed all of the limits that they possibly could to see how long the makeup would hold up with all of the balloon effects, which they did, and it's funny. This movie had a really cool monster at the end, and it also had a lot of really nice practical effects, which is to be expected from a 1982 horror movie about a monster child. That being said, I definitely recommend checking this one out as well if you haven't seen it. And it's just, I don't know. I don't know if you guys are into 80s horror movies like I am. Because apparently there are a shitload that I haven't seen yet, which is almost ridiculous. Which brings us to our fourth and final movie of the evening, In Search of Darkness Part 2. This isn't really a horror movie, but it is a documentary about horror movies. And this is so I don't know, I'm pretty sure I mentioned it, a number of months back, when the first one came out, and I have recommended that one to everyone that I can possibly think of, just because it was 3.5 hours long, not joking, and it just spans the entire decade of 80s horror movies, and how controversial everything was, and how weird everything was, and how much shit you could get away with. And it covers even more, including The Beast Within, which I had not seen, which coincidentally enough I did have a copy of. I hadn't seen it yet, but it was mentioned so many times in this documentary that I thought I should go ahead and get through. So there's all kinds of interviews, there's all kinds of behind the scenes stuff, there's all kinds of shit in this documentary that is absolutely fucking worth watching. All sorts of stuff. This movie was actually pretty heavy on the Italian 80s horror, the Giallo films, and I know on the groups that I'm in, there's a lot of complaints about it, but honestly, I have to say that the Italian horror movies from the 80s had a shitload of influence from, American-made horror movies. There's a lot of collaboration, there's a lot of comparisons and stuff like that, and I don't know. Honestly, I can't talk about this movie more. It is 4.5 hours long, and I'm not fucking kidding. I had a good time watching it. Corey even had a good time watching it. I started writing a bunch of stuff down that I didn't even know existed. And I've been able to track down most of everything that I haven't seen. and they'll be coming up. So, I mean, you guys are going to have to deal with a number of 80s horror reviews. So, that being said, that is it for me for tonight. I'm going to be done talking now. Do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. Hit that bell button so you can watch another stupid video just like this one. And also, don't forget about Retro Access Deluxe, because there is the channel on YouTube and it still exists. And that's just what that is. Don't forget, if you have not done a horror movie review with me yet, and you come over again, better be ready with your 5. Okay? Whatever. Anyways, that's it for me. I will see you guys next week, and I will see you here in a little bit as well. I will be posting the Monster Bash results, finished products, all of that stuff. More than likely later on tonight. So go ahead and check that out. If you guys want to be part of the Monster Bash next time, also let me know in the comment section on that video, and then we can get you guys into that as well. Anyways, I'm done. I will see you guys in the future. There. What do we have here? Okay, good. Anyways, the dude from 13 Cameras is fucking son of a bitch. We had to do this photo shoot. Corey got commissioned to do a set design for 6 different sets. 5. I don't fucking remember. Tough shit. Fuck you. Sorry.